Okay.
Hi, this is Sherry Mraz, the cooking yogi, and I have with me today Kathleen LeGrys from Health Coach Solutions. Thank you for joining us, Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Sherry. This is always so much fun. I love talking to you.
Truthfully, you are so much fun to have. Every
Oh,
time I
thank
have
you.
you, I could stay on for a long time, but I know we're both busy, so we'll try to make today short and sweet for everybody.
Awesome.
One of the reasons why I invited you is because I get questions from coaches all the time who have my Done For You cooking classes, and they don't know what to invite people to next. I'm always telling them they need to have something to drive people to build their business. If there's cooking classes can be done two ways. You can be doing it to that's what you love and that's what you want to do. If that's what they're doing, then they're just going to do a bunch of cooking classes and make money doing that. But if they're trying to build a business and a client base, they need to approach it differently, obviously. And I know you're the expert at having some different programs for different objectives.
Right.
So, what do you think is one of the easiest things to invite people to? Like if they're doing a cooking class, what would you think is a good way to, what do you recommend? Because I know you have a lot of different programs.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And what your programs are awesome, by the way. You are just amazing. So picture like after people have attended your cooking class, they feel relaxed, they're probably full, they're happy, right? So they've had a chance to get to know you and like you and get to trust you in that short period of time because you've just shared some really valuable tips and probably some amazing healthy food. So this is the best time to present an offer for people to work with you. And I know we definitely have the same philosophy, and you recommend that coaches drop little breadcrumbs or little hints along the way about the fact that you work with clients around the topics that you're presenting in your cooking class. And this is great because it allows coaches to smoothly segue into an offer at the end without sounding or feeling salesy and uncomfortable. And it's natural that the people that are at your class are going to want to know what solution you may offer for them that they can take things a step further. So one great idea is to offer an absolutely irresistible program, something that is short-term and low cost, that is done in an online group setting so that you can offer that at a low cost. You can have a lot of participants in this type of program. Then at the end of that program, you would offer your longer-term, higher-priced coaching program. So you want to think of your short-term program as a gateway where you're making it really safe for people to take a chance with you, and you kind of want to make it like a no-brainer decision. Because one mistake I see coaches make is that they offer only one way for people to work with them. And a lot of times that's their 6 months program. But the fact is, and I'm sure coaches find this a lot too, is a lot of people aren't ready to commit to 6 months. And truly, most people don't think they need a 6-month program. Chances are they probably maybe do, but in their head they think, oh, I don't need 6 months. So by only offering one type of program, coaches are really leaving a lot of money on the table. They don't, by not having a plan B or a second option, they're only allowing the participants or the people at the cooking class to make a decision, either the 6-month coaching program or nothing. So you want to have something else to offer.
Yeah, I think that's super, super important. And it's hard for the coaches to wrap their head around this because, especially if they come from IIN, they've been so trained to do a 6-month program, and that's what naturally comes out of their mouth. And when they're doing a cooking class, first of all, it can be challenging. Like it takes some practice because you have a lot of things you want to achieve during that time, and have everything come out smoothly.
Right.
So you really have to be really mindful of what is your objective and have a plan. Otherwise, especially when your nerves kick in. This is for anything, whether you're doing a talk, a cooking class, you're doing anything, those nerves kick in and you're just giving information and you're so glad when it's over, but you didn't invite them to anything.
Yeah, it's like, whoops. Yeah.
Right, you can't build your business.
Yeah.
Oh, you signed people up for email, which is important. That's important. Collect everyone's email when you're at a class. But when you have, and something you said I think is so important, I'm going to repeat it because you've just bonded with them over a cooking class or a talk or whatever you're doing. This even applies in yoga classes.
Yeah.
They have a relationship with you and now you are like their go-to person for help. So they do want something more. And I think coaches sometimes think that they're kind of bothering the people or they're selling. No, they do want something more.
Right.
But they aren't ready to do this huge thing. That's when they're turned off. It's a completely different mindset than what we've been trained to do. Because if you start talking 6-month program, I always say it's like when the teacher is calling on the class, everyone looks down. Nobody wants to be caught looking at the teacher. And then what happens? Start talking about your 6-month.
Yeah. And for people that can just sound completely overwhelming because a 6-month program, you have to explain what it is. And then like the eyes kind of glaze over and it's like, what? So you need to make it's simple. Yeah.
And I think you sort of almost like break trust in a weird way because then you do sound like you have something so big that's scary to them. And you said it perfectly, like a gateway, work with them and then build up. It's like we always say, it's like dating and then getting
so true. Right.
On the first date, you're a weirdo if you ask on the first date, right? So I know you have a lot of programs. What kind of programs do you think are the best ones in this situation?
Yeah, that's a really good question too. And I know there's different programs out there. I've seen 7-day programs, 21-day programs, 30-day programs, and I think they can all work really well. For me personally, what I have found well to work when I was health coaching, 7 days really for me isn't enough time for me to really establish that trust because, I want to be able to show people that I'm knowledgeable and I'm an expert to some degree. I really think 21 to 30 days is ideal because that allows enough time for people to get to know you and you can showcase your expertise while you get to solidify that relationship more. There's enough time for people to experience changes in that time too, which kind of you want to give them that momentum to keep moving forward because that, they're happy, they're feeling good about things. And the online component is nice because it's really convenient for people and they get to connect with the other people that are in the group too. And if you're doing a cooking class, you want to time it so that your online program would start maybe like 10 days from the time of your cooking class. So you kind of want to know what your plan is before you schedule your cooking class. Okay, so you say you're going to schedule your cooking class on the 1st. Okay, so on the 11th, that's when you're going to start your program. So the other nice thing about this is because this is going to be a low-cost program, most of us feel pretty comfortable talking about like a $29 to a $49 program, right? Versus something that's hundreds of dollars. Presenting the higher price programs just takes some practice and some confidence. So starting out with something at a lower price point is pretty easy. And to encourage people to take action sooner than later, you can offer a discount or a bonus or both for the people that sign up at the cooking class, right then and there. So if you can get their commitment while they're there at your class, you're golden. You're going to get a lot more people enrolled. So the goal is going to be to time it accordingly because you don't want to say, oh, I'm having this great program a month from now or 2 months from now. So you need to keep that in mind. Yeah. So just be sure to let people know that the offer is good for people that sign up today or tonight. And then I'm sure you do this too. You do want to get everyone's email address so you can follow up, but you really want to make it a goal to have them sign up right then and there. So, other than special pricing, think about an extra bonus you can offer when they sign up on the spot. So something that would be, really hard for them to pass up. So maybe that's, another recipe guide or something that your audience would find really valuable. Mm-hmm. And as far as pricing, so maybe you have a program and you decided you're going to price it at $97, but when they sign up today, they get it at $47. So that's $50 off. Plus a couple of recipe e-guides maybe that are worth $40. So how can people say no to that, right? So you want to make it such a no-brainer offer that it's too good to pass up, right? So say you had 20 people sign up at $47. That's almost $1,000 for 30 days. But the potential is there after that short-term program that people will also take advantage, some people will, of your longer-term coaching program. Right. So, people that know, like, and trust you are more likely to purchase from you again and again. So make it really easy for them to say yes to you for that first time.
Yeah. Something that along the lines of pricing, I found that works pretty well is if they they register for a smaller program, that whatever you're pitching, you have to pitch one thing. Mm-hmm. At a cooking class too. You can't say, I have a 30-day challenge and I have a detox and I have, because they're not going to sign up for anything. It's got to be one thing, like you just said. So say your cooking class is the first, and I love that. The 11th, like you have to mark it out on your calendar when your challenge starts and plan either, because I do classes all the time. It's not to say only do one class on the first. You could be doing them every night. You still know your challenge. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All around your challenge, though, what your class is, try to have that theme so you know where you're going. But if somebody signs up, maybe 2 of their friends, mm-hmm. they get it for $47, or maybe they sign up 3 friends and they get it for free.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're really, really, I almost pulled my computer down. You're really building the whole, circle that you have to contact. So right. That's really important. Something that we covered in my last webinar, which I just want to repeat because I think it's super important, is so many people offer a discount or a coupon. And when they do that, they see that there's a sale and there's a value, but they don't see it the same as when you give out gift certificates. Everybody mm-hmm. hangs on to gift certificates. This I got from Lori Kennedy. Mm-hmm. I love this so much. Yeah. I've been doing that. And in my office, someone comes to a class, they come to even a session, whatever we have going on, they get entered into a monthly drawing. They get a ticket that goes in. And if they refer, 3, 5 people, they get a certain amount of tickets and it goes in there. And we have like a great big, beautiful gift basket. And
nice.
Yeah. And they could even do that at a cooking class. Maybe they win the program if, maybe one person wins it at the class. There's so many ways to you got to get people excited mm-hmm. about what you do and about the programs, because there's a lot of programs out there and you have to create excitement mm-hmm. and yes. talk about the benefits. And I know you're all about that. I've bought your programs and I love them. They're so laid out so beautifully. They're pleasing to look at, and they just have this happy, your images, and that's important too, because health can be so dry,
mm-hmm. very, yeah,
right, boring, and it has to be something that people are excited and look forward to, or they're not even going to open the email even when they buy it.
Right, and you bring up a really good point too. As health coaches, we are very interested in all things health, while most people not so much. So you do have to make it fun, make it even sometimes entertaining and interesting. Yeah.
That's why I started doing cooking classes, honestly, yes. because people love food, and who doesn't want a cooking class? I mean, mm-hmm. everybody pretty much eats. That's the client you have. Yeah. Anybody who, and most people, anyone could turn on the TV and watch a cooking show. Anyone can look at cookbooks.
Yeah.
But when health coaches teach cooking classes, it's
Mm-hmm.
a double bonus because they're not just enjoying food, but they're learning about food that's going to improve their health.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it really is a good vehicle to build their business, but it will stop right there unless they have another program to add on in conjunction. I was doing for a while, and I do have not to pitch my stuff, but I do have a done for you detox that is a shorter term one, but there's like a 12-day lead up, so it's not just a 3-day thing, or it can be longer if they have candida. There's 2 different ones. But when someone is doing, when you teach a detox cooking class, now they're excited because they're getting this information, like what is a detox and how do they do it? They have to buy the program. So if there's, if they choose a 30-day challenge or jumpstart or whatever that you have, they can do a class. I do like the greens class, the cooking they're all super healthy. So it works for it's like insert here a class like that. So I think that's you just have to be mindful, like I said, of what your objective is and how you want to get it off the ground. I just want to tell a really fast story before we get ready to wrap up. But I had a client recently who, I'm in Florida, so we get a lot of people here and gone. And this woman lives in Colombia, but she came here, and I don't even know how she found me. She found me online. She wanted to do a program, and I said, okay. And I never call anything a 6-month program. I like a 6-month program. I do think people will make their greatest changes, but I generally, and I have your 6-month program on my website. That's how much I like it. Okay.
Yay.
But I usually will say to people when I'm trying to explain it to them that it's 12 sessions. So they see there's a time. It doesn't have to be exact. It's like, we're going to do 12 sessions. So I said to this woman, we're going to do 6 sessions, and it should take 6 weeks. Well, I'm going back to Colombia. I need to speed this up. I never did this before. I saw her 3 times in 1 week.
Oh, wow.
It's not a good thing to do. I'm going to admit when I learn from my mistakes. We all should learn from our mistakes. And that was so intense, too much information, that now it's sort of like I'm undoing what I did by giving her all of this information. Now I'm trying to just slow her down because now she went back home. And I'm like, let's just do this online.
Yeah.
A little at a time. That's how people, so a 30-day or a 40, perfect, because they're getting it. They're getting in the swing of it. Too much too soon. You said that before, and it really hit me when you said like a 7-day thing.
Absolutely. Most people, and it depends on who your target market is, but I think for a lot of health coaches with the general population, they are completely overwhelmed, confused. They are like, help me, what do I do? So what worked for me is, giving them 1 or 2 super simple things to do at a time. And then they feel like, okay, I got this. Okay, I did that. Good for me. And then do next. But I think, when you throw too much out and they're like, oh, I can't do this, they get very overwhelmed.
And I always build in a reward system. And I know I've seen you talk about that on your, because if somebody has one of your programs, you have your Facebook done for you group. So I've seen you coaching people on that, like build a reward or something. If they do everything, then someone gets a gift, or the people who post in the group. Like I think that's really exciting.
Yes. Yeah. And we can talk about that for just a second. I know we're going to dive into some other good stuff about how to set up a program, but I've tested it because I've been doing Facebook groups since 2010, like before they were even like cool, right? So I tested this over and over again when I would do these 30-day challenge groups, is the engagement, the interaction, the comments, and all that went way up when I would offer just even the silliest little prize. So I would offer the prize based on their engagement in the group for the week. and all the prizes were $10 or less. I would find them on sale somewhere. But it's funny. We all like incentives.
Absolutely.
But without a doubt, on the challenges where I didn't offer any type of incentive, it would be like crickets in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And we're all like kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you, the thing I always say, how do you get a kid to remember something like homework or, you know, ABCs? We sang it and it was fun. Like when people sing, or that's why making it fresh, light, you know, a fun thing, a challenge, a prize, a cooking class, you know, maybe you have some humor. And when you do that, then people are so much more willing to be involved and make progress. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, okay. So you, because we are going to, I know we're going to be out of time. We wanted to keep it short and just give everybody some meat here of how they can get involved. So what, I think you had just said you had some ideas for some programs, or?
Yeah, well, I wanted to, you know, to give you guys some ideas of what to do. So as far as if you want to put together your own program, so there's 3 things to think about initially. You want it to be very affordable. I recommend something between $29 to $49. You want it to be so low risk, but so high value that people can't say no. And number 2, you want to make it short term. I recommend 21 to 30 days. And number 3, it has to be easy to follow. So kind of like we talked about before, you want to make this like baby steps for people, something easy to succeed at and enjoyable to do, and you want to make it fun. So as far as putting together an actual program, you could do a 30-day challenge, a 30-day jumpstart. And what I recommend is that you include one topic each week for the 4 weeks. Kind of like Sherry was mentioning, if you throw too much out at them, they're going to be overwhelmed and not want to do anything. So in this type of challenge, it's not really a coaching program. This is just an introduction. You're going to introduce one healthy topic a week, right? Something really simple. You want to think baby steps here, nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming. So because you want to make it easy for people to have small wins every step of the way. So number 1, you want to decide on what your 4 weekly topics will be that you're going to feature over the 30 days. Number 2, you want to figure out a name for your program and who the program is going to be for. So think about your target market. Number 3 is you're going to create your graphics for your program. And your graphics would include the name of your program. And this is something you can have someone do for you on Fiverr if this isn't, you know, a skill set that you have. Number 4 is you're going to set up a private Facebook group. And this is going to be the hub. This is going to be where kind of all the action and all the fun happens. Because you're going to be sending out your weekly emails, but you want to have a place for people to meet and get to know you. Okay, you're going to want to post in the group most days, because that's how people are going to get to know a little bit about your personality and your experience. Number 5 is you need to set up a sign-up page for people to sign up. And this would also include adding an option for PayPal or Stripe payment. Number 6 is you're going to set up your weekly email content, and that will go out depending on what you use, maybe MailChimp or Aweber. And then number 7 is determine what program you want to offer as the next step after that. So do you want to offer maybe like a 90-day program or 120-day programs, like, you know, 3 or 4 month type of program? Because again, even after that short-term 30-day program, a lot of people really aren't ready to dive into 6 months. So I know I kind of threw a lot out at you there, but so there is a lot of planning involved. But the nice thing is you set this up once and then you can run it over and over again. So really, truly, it ends up saving you a lot of time in the long run. So every time you do a workshop or a webinar or a cooking class, you know you have this program that you can lead them into. And I had someone ask me this question yesterday in a Facebook group, which I thought was a really good question. She said, should I run this every 30 days? And I said, no, that's really too much. You want to plan on maybe every 3 to 4 months. Because if you think about it, it takes a while to promote the program. And then you're going to get everybody signed up. And then, okay, what's next for them? You're going to lead them into the coaching program. So if you can, plan on doing this maybe every 3 to 4 months, you'll have kind of a consistent funnel that you can lead people into your other programs. So, and I learned the hard way what worked and what didn't work. Like I said, I did my first group in 2010. I didn't know what I was doing. So, but I learned along the way. I learned what worked really well, what didn't work. I had some total flops. So I've definitely learned what does work and what doesn't work by trial and error. And that's, I got my first few clients as a result of running my challenge group. So it can work really well with that too. And that's why I offer programs that are already done for you and ready to go. So just like you offer with your program, Sherry, you want to save people time. And that's my goal with health coaches, because they're already juggling so much. Maybe they're still in school, maybe they just finished school. Most of them are working at their job. There's just a lot to do. So, why reinvent the wheel when you can get something that's already done, that's been tried and tested, so.
Kathleen, just to be upfront with everyone, thank you for that. That is amazing information, because that is exactly how someone would lay it out, how you did it, how I did it, but that's not exactly how we did it, because and I know it didn't go down that way.
Oh, let me tell you,
crazy when you're creating.
What I have,
first, it's so hard to do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and what I have now is nothing like what I had. It's like so much better.
Yeah, same. When I was first started teaching cooking classes, and that's how the template was born, and the same with, I'm sure, with your programs. I was going out, I was doing all this cooking, changing recipes every single time. Oh, I already did that. I need to do this. I need to do something different. And making up these recipes the day of, and like they're running off the page, and I'm breaking out in sweats, and I've got to remember all these details, and have to have a sign-up form, and oh my gosh, I need this, I need that. And then I wasn't making any money, to be honest, because I was worrying about all those details, and I wasn't keeping track of my expenses. When you're doing cooking classes, that's an art in itself, because you need to keep your costs down. You need to be super organized. So I had over time, it took time, build this one page where every single detail is on one page. And then I created a shopping list and how to keep track of your expenses and how to figure out your net costs. So those are all the things that I end up sharing and teaching. But that was from my own pain and suffering that I learned how to master that. And so then, when you master something, what's your next step? Showing someone else how to master it. And so I know those programs did probably not come so easy as you're making it sound for them. So I think I froze for a minute. Oh, I lost you. Oh, I lost Kathleen. Okay, so she'll be back.
Sorry about that. I was talking. I was like, Sherry, where'd you go?
I know we got booted. Maybe I'll splice back together. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this fixed. So so I was saying that through pain and suffering, programs are born. It's like painful to have a child. No good thing comes without some serious work. And there was a point that you made just a minute ago that I want to repeat that also. Those challenges are not coaching. And I think that's something really important for coaches to get through their head also, to get out of the 6-month program mindset of pitching that. And yes, they're all, when you're starting out, you're a coach, you want to coach, but there's a time and a place, and you need to remember how to work that navigate towards the coaching. Because there could very well be someone in a cooking class who signs up for your coaching program. It can happen. It totally can happen, even from a challenge. They're there. They're going to call you. They're going to email you. They're going to say, I want in. But there is this romance period, because we are all in information overload. I'm in it.
So,
You're
very
in it.
much so.
The public is in it. They're thinking, why do I need a coach? I can go online. I can Google this. I can find this out myself. But they can get so much information that then they're in analysis paralysis. And before they know it, they can't do anything because it's like, oh my gosh, this one said that. That one said that. So the goal for most coaches is to get the person to know they want the information. They know they need to work with someone who is an expert, and then they need to trust that person, but they also need to start to be able to understand that there is no one person. There is one right person or theory for them, but it's sort of a process. That's how we are trained, right? Bio-individuality. And that's where I think the goal is to get people to want to be at that place where, you know what, I just did I did a cooking class. It opened my eyes to healthy eating. I did a challenge. It opened my eyes to, I need to find out how to get actually coached now. How do I actually do this for me? Right. So there is like a whole process. And I think that, I was on the wrong view. I think that it will make sense to coaches when they realize it's steps. And when they're doing everything at once. I was there. Oh my gosh. Coaching, Facebook. I've got to be on Pinterest. I've got to write blogs. I've got to, I got to do cooking classes. I've got to do challenges. And you don't do anything well. It's like focus on one thing at a time. I only get involved with certain people to even mentor me. And I mean, in a way, you're one of them because of your programs. And, there's just been some people that they make sense. They're very generous with their information. And you want to get in the right place because we're building a business. You need to have people that are ahead of you that you trust. And so does the public when they're dealing with you. They want information. And it's the same thing. It's like, look at yourself. Who do you trust? You want to be that person that they trust to build a relationship and get them to connect the dots.
And you brought up two really good points. I hope I remember the second one by the time I'm talking about the first one. But the fact of the matter is, anybody can find health information on the internet. You can find out exactly what you need to be doing. But as a health coach, you are the missing piece because people need help. They need help deciphering that information. They need help implementing, and they need help with accountability. That's the hugest part. Most people you talk to, they kind of know what they should be doing, but they need a coach to help implement everything. The other thing you said, darn it, now I knew I was going to forget. I always have to remind myself to put my blinders on because we are bombarded with so much information. But what I really recommend is focus on what you think is best for you at this point in time in your business. Pick one, maybe two strategies to work on at a time. Because if you're going in every different direction, you're never going to be able to really find out what's working. Because you're never going to be able to give everything, that one thing, your 100% attention. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, I just recommend you take a step back and figure out, okay, what do I need to be doing right now? What is going to get me from point A to point B? And sometimes you don't know. And okay, try something, but don't try 10 things at once.
Absolutely. That is such great advice. Babies they roll over, they crawl, they walk. They don't just start running. And people get these ideas in their head. They see these glittery emails, like they're going to make all this money, listen to this webinar, listen to that. And so much of it is great information that's out there. There really is fantastic information. But the problem is, if you're listening to all different people, it's going to take you longer to get to your goal because you didn't finish what you just started. And they're not just opinions. They're really giving a lot of good business strategy. I listen to things, but I've learned to block most of it out, because if you're not ready for it, you can't hear it anyway. I mean, if you went through, like, coaches who are going through IIN, when they go through their notes a year later, they're going to be like, I wrote that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too much information. You're not ready. And it really is, it's the same for us building a business as it is for the clients who can take one step at a time.
Right.
Drinking water, eating whole foods, like really start cutting out some things, but adding in healthy things. And it's the same with us. Get a done for you program, but don't get 5. Get 1.
Yeah.
Look at your calendar, lay it out, stay super focused. If people just coaches stayed super focused on one thing at a time, and it's not to say like, okay, you're going to do a cooking class. Yeah. But you still need to have, what are you going to drive them to? So one thing, even though there's 2 things, like I'm recommending they do a Done For You program that is a challenge, a get started, a 30-day program. And that's why I invited you, because I'm recommending they do that. Get that, because it's all done. That's why it's called Done For You. It's all done. All they need to do is plug it in, not think about that. Go do your cooking class. Go waste your energy getting your ingredients and worrying about where it's going to be held and things like that. Now you can focus and worry about that, because you have something to drive them to without having to deal with what's my next step. Just put that step in and leave it there. Just put it there, but put it in, because people buy them and then they have it sit in their inbox. No, take the time.
You have to use it. Yeah.
Put it into an email responder or something. And if someone doesn't know how to do that, they can reach out to either one of us. And I have people who can do that for them. I'm sure you have people you would recommend. Yeah. And it will waste so much energy if you don't know how to do that. It's not worth it. You can have someone help you with that really inexpensively, and they'll get it done. You'll be up and running
so much quicker, right? I mean, if that's not your skill set, it's going to take you weeks, but finding someone that knows what they're doing, it's pretty inexpensive, and you can have it up and going in a matter of days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without the headache. But I think what's nice too is it kind of gives you a clear path and a clear system. You have the cooking class first, then you offer your low-cost program, your 30-day program, and then after that you can offer your longer-term program. So it kind of gives you a built-in system that you can repeat over and over and over again.
Yeah, and you have to know who you are and what you want to do, because there are coaches who say, I want to coach. I want to do one-on-one. I want to do it on the phone, or I want to have an office. I have an office. I meet people in an office. I go sit in there. I share an office with a natural health practitioner, and her and I actually work with people. We do all kinds of cool things, scans. We test people for nutrition. We do a lot of great fun things, but I love that part of my work. And so that's what I'm about. But if I wasn't loving it, don't do it then. Just because someone told you to do a program or to work with people. You don't need to be true to your school. You need to be true to yourself. Maybe you only want to work in group programs or online. Then do it. You have to just make that decision of who you are and what. Yeah,
that's so true. Because when I was at IIN, I really didn't hear anybody. I knew I didn't want an office, and I also knew I didn't want to see people in my house because my kids were younger. That just didn't work for me. I thought I just want to coach people over the phone. And I didn't know how to do it, but I'm stubborn like that. So I figured it out. So I did all my coaching either via phone or online. And for me, it was perfect. But I think you're right. Everybody needs to figure out, what fits into your life the best right now, and what excites you the most, you get to fit your business into your life.
And where you currently are, right? I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's, like I was a yoga teacher. I had all these people in front of me every day. So naturally they wanted to work with me. So that was why it made sense. I had kids. I just set up my office in my house at the time, and I had a beautiful place to do it, but it made sense. So, if I didn't if I didn't have those people, it would have probably been a lot harder to find people off the street. Like, kind of have to know. It's like one thing that Joshua does say for my IN that I love is start where you are. To kind of take a look at where you are, who's asking you. I literally used to keep a piece of paper on the side of my desk, and I'd be writing down if someone emailed me, if someone asked me, where did they come from? Were they a friend of a friend? Was it from an article I wrote? Was it from a yoga class, an ad? Because I used to run ads. So I was like tracking where they were coming from, and then I was tracking what they were asking me for. So I could kind of start to see what they were. If you want to know who you are, ask someone else, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I know you have another appointment, so we'll end, but I so appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you.
You being here. I think that this is going to be super helpful for everyone.
I hope so.
And I will put some links when we play this so that they can find you and what you have going on, and we'll get them over the rainbow to the pot of gold.
Sounds good. All right. Well, as always, it's my pleasure. Any chance I get to hang out with you, I'm all for it.
Thank you. You're amazing. Have a great day.
You too. All right.